And now, Mike's thoughts.
Nathaniel Hackett has come out and said Sean Payton has, quote, violated the coach's unwritten rule book. We all know how we feel about unwritten rules here on the Man Hour. If it's not written down in stone, I don't care. The whole baseball unwritten rules, yada, yada, yada. Get that crap out of here. We don't want to hear it no more. Old school way is no way anymore. But you guys are kind of might be curious of what Sean Payton actually said about Nathaniel Hackett. He said, and I quote, let me pull it up here. He says, this might have been one of the worst coaching jobs in the history of the NFL. That's how bad it was. Now, Sean Payton stepped back a little bit, kind of recanted of what he says, like, oh, maybe I had my Fox hat on still. Maybe I need to put my coach's hat on and kind of, dissect, tone back of what I'm trying to present out there. So when I saw the first interview with Sean Payton, I'm like, hell yeah, brother. Speak it. This is what I want to see. Call a spade a spade. If he sucked, call his ass out. Let's get the right people on the bus. You get the right people on the bus, the promised land's a hell of a lot easier to get to. Nathaniel Hackett, you did have one of the worst head coaching performances out there ever. Offensive guru, 2-time MVP with Aaron Rodgers, and you couldn't produce like 10 points a game. What? But then Sean Payton recanted his statement. He was like, well, I didn't really. Well, he said he didn't mean it, but he just said it. He apologizes and maybe have said it the wrong way. Okay, I can get behind that a little bit, but this is what I like. I love the rawness of Sean Payton's first interview. I love that he said, hey man, you sucked. You were not very good at your job. Number 3, I am glad that he called out the general manager and the ownership and whoever else, like, hey, you guys did this. You guys signed Russell Wilson to some $300 million deal, gave away all my draft picks. You did this, and this, and you expect them to be, and you expect me to turn this around? So when I do, hold my beer, call me the GOAT, and do this. But then he's like, hey, the GM isn't that bad. The ownership isn't that bad. There's a reason why I came to Denver. I like the general manager. I like the ownership. I like the roster that they have. When Sean Payton called out Nathaniel Hackett about how bad the old staff was, how bad the old ways were, he was just speaking facts. He was speaking facts at the end of the day. And if you don't like those facts, shove it up your booty hole. Is there a code of conduct among coaches like, hey, don't speak bad about me. Don't tell me I did a bad job. Call a spade a spade. Call the pot black if it's black. It's just like, good Lord. At the end of the day, just shove it up your booty hole. We don't care what you think, Nathaniel Hackett. Prove me otherwise that you're going to be an okay offensive coordinator in New York. We will see what happens there. We will see. But I need you to cue that intro.
Are you ready for the best damn radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You know on the beat every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. Why I bring you the host, Mike. buck, get cold. You know, coming to the stage, sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're out the dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzz beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour. With the voice changer turned on, my mad still. But guys, this is live, raw, uncut sports talk right here on the Wednesday edition, August 2nd of Man Hour NFL Talk. We do have a great show for you lined up for today. It is Hypotheses Wednesday. We're going to give you a little bit of if, and then we sprinkle with the then in there. So we are going to talk about Cooper Kupp's injury. What in the world is going on with Cooper Kupp? Mr. 2,000 yards, almost 2,000 yards him like himself. He just can't seem to stay healthy. Denver Broncos are dropping like flies. Aaron Rodgers takes a massive pay cut. We kind of skimmed over that the last couple days, but let's go ahead and dive into that and talk about that. And Mac Jones on the hot seat. Is Mac Jones potentially out in New England? We will talk about that. Michael Thomas, is he back? Is he back? But what if he's not? What if he's not? Then we're going to talk about Jonathan Taylor Thomas's trade request again. 4 potential teams that I think he could go to. And then I'm hearing out of the woodwork, hey, the Kansas City Chiefs are about to make a play for him, baby. They about to make a play for him, baby. I don't know. We will see. Hoffy is in the chat, live in the chat. He says, don't shit on my boy, Mac Daddy Jones. We're not shitting on him. I'm just calling. Your man, Bill Belichick, is like, hey, every job's open, baby. Slow it down, baby. But we do have to get into some new news to start the show. But if you guys have not done so already, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to whatever platform you're listening to us on. If you're on Facebook, hit that like button, hit that share button. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that share button, share it over to Twitter, share it over to Facebook, Instagram, Threads, whatever part of social media you're on, share it. Rumble, we on Rumble too. And if you're on iTunes or Spotify, download that, subscribe it, and give us a ranking. Give us a nice, honest ranking on the podcast. 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star, whatever it might be, let us know and give us some valuable feedback so I can improve the show. Because we are all about improving this live, raw, uncut NFL talk show each and every day. But we do got to welcome some people in the chat. We got Hoffy in the chat. He is the man behind the Man Hour chat right now. What is up, Hoffy? Hopefully you're having a grand old day. Hoffy will be joining us here in momentarily as we do get some stuff figured out. Bada bing, bada boom. He has a meeting, and then he'll be in here to offer those expert analysis that Hoffy does so well. We got Arthur Brown in the chat as well. What is up, Arthur? Hope you're having a grand day, man. Be safe out there on the mean streets. My professional truck driver, David, is in the chat as well. What is up, David? I see you in there. Thank you for sharing this live feed, David. We definitely appreciate you, man. We appreciate you each and every day. Alpha Rob is in the chat as well. What's up, Alpha, over there on YouTube? On the YouTubes. Mama Buck is in the house. Wifey Buck is in the house as well. Man, we got a bunch of Bucks in the house. Sister Buck's in the house. What? Are all the Bucks joining in today? What's up, Buck family? And, of course, Marty. What's up, Marty? Hope you're having a grand old day, man. Get better. Figure out what is going on. But, guys, as always, we start each and every show with some new news. So as first things first, there's a tons of transitions, tons of signing, tons of roster tucks, tons of people getting put on the PUP list. We're not going to cover each and every one of those today, but just know that your team is making some type of moves. Your team is signing somebody. Your team is cutting somebody. This is the preseason. Guys, NFL preseason starts tomorrow. Hall of Fame game. Get excited about that. We'll be talking about that momentarily. But Panthers guard Chandler Zada should be ready to go by early next week. With that being said, this is huge for the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers have named Bryce Young number one QB1. They need a solid offensive line in front of him. What makes every player look good? Running backs, receivers, quarterbacks, a solid offensive line. Get that man back, and the Carolina Panthers should be A-OK, baby. Bengals running back. We better figure this out ASAP. I pushed the wrong button, so did the stream stop? Holy shit. What happened? Please. Oh, man. My bad, Facebook. I apologize. We will give me momentarily here, guys. I pushed the wrong button. I was in the zone. I was zoned out, and I pushed the wrong button. So let me get this. Guys, this is live, raw, uncut sports talk. This is what happens when you are live, and you are raw, and you are uncut. This is what happens. This is what happens, baby. My bad, guys. My bad. I pushed the wrong button. Hopefully we are back all on the same page here. Can you guys see me? Can you hear me over on Facebook? Let me know. I know I definitely f that up, but my bad. Let's jump back into the new news here. Cleveland Browns have named their quarterback starter for tomorrow's game versus the New York Jets. That'll be Kellen Mond. He'll be starting the Hall of Fame game. So the Jets and the Browns guys are playing 4 preseason games. So don't expect to see any type of starter whatsoever. Like over there. Just don't. We're glad football's back, but don't put any stock into this game whatsoever. Just don't do it. Denver's wide receiver Tim Patrick has a clean Achilles tear, and in the break of that, they signed Nick Williams. Has not played since 2018. We'll dive deeper into that as the show gets carried on here. But this is some good news for the Indianapolis Colts fans. Anthony Richards had returned to practice on Tuesday following his nasal surgery to open up some airways. My man couldn't breathe, so they're like, hey, let's knock that stuff out. Let's open that up. But Zach Moss will miss up to 6 weeks with a broken arm. Why is this a big deal? Because Jonathan Taylor wants out. Who is going to run that rock? If Zach Moss is to miss some games, guys, this is dangerous. Dangerous. So hopefully Colts can figure out everything with the whole excuse me, with the whole Jonathan Taylor thing. We'll figure it out. Speaking of figure it out, Las Vegas Raiders have released O.J. Howard. This is just days after O.J. Howard says Jimmy G loves his tight ends. I'm going to love it there. Sorry, man. You're out. What? And then it is Taco Tuesday. As Taco Carton does get signed by the San Francisco 49ers. My man Taco is now a San Francisco 49ers. Why is this a big deal? Because Nick Bosa is holding out. do we see some writing on the wall? Is Taco going to take Nick Bosa's spot this year? I don't know. Do we need to slow it down? Wait, we might need to slow it down, baby. Anyways, we do got a special person in the chat here. We do have the peanut butter to my ladies, the man, the myth, the legend himself, popping up on the wall of Hoffy, and that is the one, the only, John Hoffman. Let's give that man a round of applause. Yeah, Hoffy. What's going on, big guy? What's up? What's up? What's up, man? Yeah, look, he's not even ready. He's got an Irish tattoo, thinking he's Conor McGregor.
I told you I wasn't ready.
I don't see chat, man. I was so worried about Facebook stream because for some reason I meant to push the record button. I pushed stop stream, so it stops the stream on Facebook. It stops the stream on Spotify. It stops the stream on YouTube. I'm sitting here trying to maintain the show, and I'm doing nothing but like panicking. I'm like, what I do with my hands? Oh man, it was. But this is what happens when you're live, raw, uncut, and we are a two-man show. I'm doing all the producing, all the camera angles, all like everything, and Hoffy's back there, many the chat, getting the stats up and working. And this is what happens when you don't have a big crew. Sometimes shit happens, Hoffy, right?
I agree.
Shit happens when you party naked, and I don't have no pants on. I'm just. It is what it is. Pants are optional when you work from home, and that's what we're doing, Hoffy. We are working from home.
I don't even have underwear on today.
Oh, my man. Slow it down, baby. Don't get the boys excited. But when we talk about toxic comments, Hoffy, and we talk about comments of the day and all this other stuff, this one might be the one on top here. He says, well, Buck, I don't think you're on Facebook Live anymore. That's the wrong one. I wasn't like, he says, what do you call a room full of bucks? A dollar store. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. But have you been to the dollar store lately, Hoffy?
Yeah, it's $1.25, unfortunately.
Yeah, like what is up with that?
Anymore.
What is up with that? Like, you go to the Dollar General store where everything's generally $1. Well, guess what? Everything generally like $5 there now. Like, what? Get out of it with that crap. What is going on? I don't know. It is what it is. It is what it is. But Hoffy, this is Wednesday edition, Hypotheses Wednesday. And if you guys want to kick it back to 6th grade science fair, what is a hypothesis? We give you a statement that has an if in it, and then we tell you what is going to happen. So if Hoffy decides to grow a beard, then he will actually look like a grown-ass man. None of this little peach fuzz that he wants to be on his face thinking he is cool, but this is what happens. You get a little bit of if, and then a little bit of then. So Hoffy, let's dive into it. Let's get the thing in, and I guess the Patriots are still here, whatever that's supposed to mean. Jesus.
6-time Super Bowl champs, you know it.
Yeah. Hey, let's all live in the past, but, Chiefs Kingdom all day long, baby. I'm just... do you like it when, like, people say that you're biased towards your team or one way or the other? So, like, obviously we are on a NFL show here, right? And people always say, oh, you're biased, you're a Chiefs fan. Actually, I am kind of the biggest Chiefs naysayer out there. The last couple seasons, I've had them kind of taking a step back. I mean, not really taking a step back, but I've been like, hey, we're not going to sweep the AFC West every year. Slow it down, baby. But hey, whatever. It is what it is. Let's get into Hypotheses Wednesday here, if and then, and we are going to start right there at the top. The Rams suffered yet another possibly huge injury. Cooper Kupp leaves practice with an apparent injury on Tuesday during practice. Head coach Sean McVay says there's no update at Cooper and Cooper Kupp pulled up during a route. If So, Hoffy, we have to ask this generalized question here. If Cooper Kupp misses an extended period of time for the Rams, then what? Cooper Kupp has arguably been one of the best wide receivers the last 3 years in the NFL. 2020, yes, he did. Like he did only play 9 games, but he still had 75 catches for 82 yards. Don't you guys remember just yesterday we were talking about Chris and Kurt being an elite receiver with 1,000 yards? Well, Cooper Kupp played half those games and still about got those 1,000 yards. Flashback to 2021. He about got those 2,000 yards, 53 yards away, 1,947 yards with 145 catches. All that sounds good, right? But then we dive into the win-loss record without Cooper Kupp. Over the since 2018, the Rams without Cooper Kupp are 9-8. They are just above a 500 team. But last year, most importantly, they were not very good last year. They had 1 win without Cooper Kupp all season long, and that was when they played the Vegas Raiders, and we all know how the Vegas Raiders ended their season last year. So with that being said, Hoffy, if Cooper Kupp misses an extended period of time for the LA Rams, then what? So we kind of already think that the Rams are going to have a bad season as is anyways, right? Many people say they're going to be down. Matthew Stafford's kind of over the hill. I saw a report that his wife's brain cancer is like his back, so we'll kind of see how that plays out in the end. But with all that being said, Cooper Kupp is a very sought out commodity for the Rams. If he were to miss an extended period of time, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games, I don't see the Rams winning any of those games. They don't have an Odell Beckham Jr. anymore. They don't really have that solid running game anymore. Matthew Stafford isn't that dog as of late. I mean, maybe this year he might come out and surprise us, right? They still have the defense. They still have the offensive line that's okay. But, man, they need then some Cooper Kupp. So if he misses an extended period of time, Hoffy, they are SOL. They are screwed, man. No chance of winning the West. No chance of winning like 9, 10 games. There is no chance of a playoff.
I agree. As I'm your peanut butter to your peanut butter and jelly sandwich, Kupp is the peanut butter to Matthew Stafford's. So I do think him coming back from injury, he's going to need that security blanket, and not having his weapons that he had 2 years ago when he was around. He's going to have to rebuild that chemistry as well as kind of regain his confidence from that injury. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a real down year for the Rams offense if Cooper Kupp is not on that field.
So I have kind of went out and said I kind of think the Rams might be a little bit of a dark horse. We might see them make a little bit of noise because people are saying they're only going to be a 4 or 5 win team, competing with Arizona for that top overall spot in the NFL draft. Now, let's say Cooper Kupp is just like a strain. It's just like a strained hammy, right? He misses a few days, and he's back. If Cooper Kupp plays a full 17 game season, look out. I am still on the believement that I think the Rams are going to have a good season. I think they are a 9-10 win team. I think they can make some noise in the West. I think they can compete with the Seahawks and the 49ers and making a wild card playoff push. So Cooper Kupp, let's all pray for this man. Let's hope that he has that that nagging training camp injury, right? My big toe hurts a little bit. I just need to sit out a few days, right? Let's hope for that, because if that is true, Hoffy, how good do you think the Rams can be with Cooper Kupp? Are they a first overall draft
even with
pick?
Cooper Kupp, I think they're gonna struggle. I think entering this year they got one of the 3rd worst offensive lines. And that's not good for a quarterback that's coming back from injury. So I think Matt Stafford is going to be on his back an awful lot this year.
So let me ask you this question. If you do think the Rams are going to be so bad, Cooper Kupp is arguably a top 5, top 10 receiver in this league when he plays a full season the last 3-4 years, right? In his last 6 years, when a 6 years career, he has 508 catches for 6,329 yards. That is 5th overall in that time frame. Do you trade away a receiver like Cooper Kupp? If you're like, if you are going to be bad anyways, if you're in rebuild mode anyways, trade Cooper Kupp, right? Trade Aaron Donald. Get some draft capital out of them, right?
I think so. I mean, they finished 5-12 last year.
Yep.
I think they're going to finish. I think they'll be above the Cardinals. The Cardinals are going to be good without having Murray, but you still got the Seahawks and the 49ers there, and you're not going to compete with them. So I think last year we saw the writing on the wall that it's time to kind of rebuild. So yeah, I think if you want to get some draft capital and you want to have a good draft pick of your own, if they even have that draft pick still, they trade all their first rounds away. But
Right.
I think you do need to get rid of Donald and Kupp and completely rebuild rather than just being a middle of the road kind of team and doesn't allow you to rebuild. So it's going to make that rebuilding process take longer.
Right. And let's not forget, there is a reason why Sean McVay wanted out last year. And they're like, oh, come back, man. We can work this out. Because they got a lot of rebuilding, a lot of retooling to make there in LA. And this injury to Cooper Kupp might just be the nail in the coffin if it is an extended. Like, obviously Sean McVay had no update on it, so we don't know how serious like it is or non-serious it is at the end of the day. But let's go ahead and move on. And speaking of injury-prone wide receivers here, Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas is, quote, fine-tuning his skills as he moves closer to being 100%. As you guys know, Michael Thomas has been injuries since his record-breaking catching year of 2019, 2020. Ever since then, he's played like maybe a total of 10 games. He's been off and on the field with fights, with injuries, with a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So if Michael Thomas does not play in 2023, then what? The New Orleans Saints are a team that people are saying they're going to be a dark horse. This team is going to go to the playoffs. This team is going to make some noise. They're going to win the South. Look out, baby. And I'm like, whoa. Pump the brakes. Slow it down. Now, I do like some Derek Carr. I do like some Alvin Kamara. I do like some Jamal Williams that they added in the offseason as well. And then when I got to thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? The Saints can't be that bad without Michael Thomas, right? Well, Hoffy, over the last 8 seasons that Michael Thomas has been a receiver for the New Orleans Saints, without Michael Thomas on the field, the Saints are 21-20. 21-20. Last year they went 6-8. Of course, Andy Dalton was the quarterback. You know, that GOAT himself, the red-headed wonder. Of course, they're going to win 6 games when they don't have anybody on the roster. Which, 21-20 don't sound too bad, right? But then we look at the stats with Michael Thomas. When Michael Thomas is on the field, the Saints are 51-22, Hoffy. 51-22 when Michael Thomas is on the field. So if Michael Thomas does not play for the 2023 season because of injury, because of this, because of whatever, the Saints are a below 500 team. They are not winning the South. They are not going to make some noise in the playoffs. They're not even a Super Bowl contender. Michael Thomas is the bread and butter to the New Orleans Saints, and they need him on the field 100%. Derek Carr needs that number one receiver. He needs him. Needs him. What are your thoughts?
I agree, but we are talking about the NFC South. I could see 8 and 9 being enough to win this division. I mean, you got the Falcons, you got the Panthers, the Bucks are going to be trash. You got the Saints. So if they're just over 500 without Thomas and they finish at 9-8, I think that gets the job done in the NFC South.
You see, I would concur with you, But the Bucs have a quarterback by the name of Baker freaking Mayfield. That's right. The legendary jack-off king himself. Anybody that jacks off to a Kansas JJ Hawk, you are okay in my book. I should probably put his poster on the wall as well. But Baker Mayfield is going to lead the Buccaneers to the promised land this year. Yes, the Buccaneers had the worst rushing attack last year in 2022, but there's a couple players out there that could go to the Bucs. We'll talk about that later in the show. But don't be sleeping on the Bucs, man. Don't be sleeping on the Panthers. I'm sleeping on the
Bucs. Are you kidding me? Sean McVay is not there to call plays for Baker Mayfield. Okay. We're going to be right back to the Cleveland days of him just throwing up a Hail Mary and praying.
But did Baker Mayfield lead the Browns to the playoffs? He did. He did. With a blown out shoulder.
Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry led him to the playoffs.
Wasn't that the year that Odell Beckham, you're like, I'm wide open, and they cut his ass and got traded to like the Rams? Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out of here with that crap, Hoffy. Baker freaking Mayfield, baby. That is all you need to know. But 51-22 with Michael Thomas and 21-20 without him. People say that a wide receiver doesn't make a difference on a team. Proof is in the pudding right there. Michael Thomas is probably one of the best receivers in the NFL if he gets to play. Speaking of wide receivers, they are dropping like flies in Denver. They got flies flying around the pony's booty hole, and they are dropping. They are dropping like flies. Tim Patrick and a KJ Hamler, both wide receivers for the Denver Broncos, were lost on the same day. As we talked about, Tim Patrick tore his Achilles, and KJ Hamler was put on the PUP list, and they are not expected to return for this following season. So we got to ask the question, as the Denver Broncos are dropping like flies here, if the Denver Broncos cannot replace those two wide receivers this season, then what? Well, you guys, have you ever heard of Tim Patrick before? I mean, like, if you are a Denver Broncos fans, I'm sure you've heard of Tim Patrick, right? I mean, he did sign a pretty good deal this offseason, but his projected stats for the 2023, guess how many yards he was projected to get this season? 600 total yards. Not 600 yards in a quarter, not 600 yards in a half of a season, 600 yards for the whole entire season. That's nothing to like, oh man, we lost 600 yards of production. KJ Hamler, guys, you know him? I certainly do not, and I've been trolling the Broncos pages a lot lately. KJ Hamlin was projected to get only 83 yards. Not in a game, not in a season, or not a half a season, but the whole season. 83 total projected yards for the 2023 NFL season. And despite of losing those potential 700 yards of offense, they did sign Nick Williams. Guys, Nick Williams hasn't played since 2018. He was only projected to get he only has 300 yards for his whole career. He has not stepped foot on an NFL field in a game since 2018 when he caught 2 passes for 17 yards in the LA Rams. So if the Broncos cannot replace them, then really no sweat off the bat. The Denver Broncos, I'm not too worried about your receiver core right now. You still have Jerry Jeudy. Very underrated. That's going to perform great this season, I think. Coming from a Chiefs fan, I think Jerry Jeudy is going to blow up. You still have Cortland Sutton. Look out for him, baby. You guys signed Marvin Mims this offseason. And you do have Russell Wilson still. Let the man cook. And if Russell isn't, not cooking, burning the water, you got Ben DiNucci. Let the 6'12" man himself play. Mr. XFL, Mr. X Dallas Cowboys, let Ben DiNucci cook as well. But most importantly...
Whoa. We're letting Jared Stidham cook before we let DiNucci cook.
No, we're not. Ben DiNucci Ben DiCucci, as we like to call him over here on the Man Hour, is better than Jarrett Stidham. You get your Patriots fandom out of here. But if the Broncos cannot replace Tim Patrick or KJ Hamler, there's no sweat off their back. Yes, injuries suck, but at the end of the day, who, right? Who? Like, come on, Javi.
I agree with you. I mean, there was talk of Jerry Jeudy being traded. I think that's going to put a chip on his back this year, or his shoulder, whatever you want to call it. But I think that that him and Cortland Sutton are due for a breakout year. And by the end of this year, we could be calling them one of the top 5, wide receiver tandems in the NFL, especially if, Sean Payton works his magic and Russell's cooking and not burning water. And, you got a decent running back in Javonte Williams. So I think they'll be quite all right.
Yeah, and let's not forget that they did draft Marvin Mims Jr. from Oklahoma in the 2nd round. When I got to see this guy live in person when they played my alma mater, the Kansas State Wildcats, Hoffy, this guy, there are some people that when you see on like tape, you're like, right, he's just another good receiver that can catch some balls down the field, right? But when you see this man in person, he may only be like 5'5", 5'10", but he is very, very shifty. He explodes off of the field. Like when you see him walking and like running on the field, you're like, man, this guy is going to be something. Now on tape, like yes, he does look good. Don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to say he's bad by any stretch of the imagination, but seeing him in person, when we see him on the NFL field, look out. I think, Marvin Mims Jr. is going to do some work this season for the Denver Broncos. And the loss of Tim Patrick and KJ Hamlin might really expedite his growth because he won't have to compete for those number 4, 5, 6 receivers there for some playing time. Moving on. Oh, we're on the next page, Hoffy. We're on the next page, and you know what that means. Page number 2, that means that it's time to talk about some Aaron freaking Rodgers, one of the most overrated quarterbacks of all freaking time, Hoffy. Not your boy Tom Brady, not my man Patrick Mahomes. Aaron freaking Rodgers. But if you guys do not know, Aaron Rodgers took a pay cut last week to clear up $35 million worth of cap space for the New York Football Jets. He told reporters during his interview after practice on Monday it was the right thing to do and is a win-win situation for everybody in New York. So we got to sit back and we start to thinking here, Hoffy. Didn't he have an opportunity to do this in Green Bay to keep one of the most dynamic offenses together? Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Tunyon, all those boys, right? And he chose to, go to his darkness retreatment and demand a trade and do all this other crap. And I want $85 million, like $100 billion or whatever, right? So we got to ask the question. If Aaron Rodgers did this in Green Bay, then what? If Aaron Rodgers would have took a pay cut in Green Bay the last couple years, and not demanded this and demanded that and held out in the darkness retreatment and all that crap, we could be looking at one of the most dominant teams in the NFC. The Philadelphia Eagles might be a fly on the wall, but we would not be talking about the 49ers. We would not be talking about the Cowboys. We would not be talking about the Eagles. We would not be talking about the Seahawks or the Rams. It would all be in Green Bay, Wisconsin at Lambeau Field. We would be talking about the Green Bay Packers being Super Bowl favorites year in and year out. Yes, Aaron Rodgers has the stigma of just making it to the championship game, right? Always being the bridesmaid, never being the bride. But if you would have took that $35 million pay cut, Devontae Adams would have been there, right? They could have brought some other big name receivers in there. The offensive line was good. The Green Bay Packers may have won a Super Bowl. No. They would have won a Super Bowl. They They could have beat out the Eagles a couple years ago. They could have beat out the 49ers. The Packers were that good with Aaron Rodgers, and he screwed the pooch on that one 100%. Hoffy,
Can you imagine if you had Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, and Devon? I mean, just to prove your point, and Adam all on the same roster.
oh yeah,
We Aaron
would
Jones as the running back, and AJ Dillon too is. I mean,
right.
could be a number one on any other team. But yeah, I mean that is 5 dynamic weapons that Aaron Rodgers could have had.
Yeah, we might be talking about them being the number one receiver core in the NFL over the Browns, over the Bengals, over the Dolphins, etc.
I don't think there would be a question about it.
Yeah, so you come from a team where Tom Brady repeatedly took pay cuts, right? Took less money to build the team, right? To stay home. When you see this with Aaron Rodgers doing this in his new team, his new home, $35 million is nothing to blink an eye about. It is not like he took a $5 million pay cut or $1 million pay cut or this or this or this. $35 million. This man's only getting paid like $5 million this season. When you see this, what do you think about that? Like, do you think this is his way of saying, hey, maybe the Jets are not as good as we think we are. Maybe we need to bring some more people in, and this is why I'm giving you guys $35 million to play with. Make it happen, and we'll win a Super Bowl. Do you think that's what he's trying to like say there?
Yeah, maybe he's afraid of Arthur Brown's Miami Dolphins, and
Yeah.
the team just up the street from him in the Buffalo Bills. Maybe good old Woody Johnson made quite a bit of money off of his Johnson & Johnson shot, and he's giving him $30 million, on the side, and playing the books, doing a little money laundering.
I like how you had to throw the id reference in there. Can we say that word anymore? Like, are we going to get canceled if we say that word still, or talk bad on it? I don't care.
I don't think it exists anymore.
Try to cancel me. This is live, raw, uncut. We are the biggest independent NF show out there. Hoffy, did you know that Man Hour is up for a award? Did you know this? You do not know this because I literally just found out within the last 2 hours here. I opened up my email, started scrolling. We are nominated for the #1 NFL independent show per iHeartRadio. So I'm not for sure how they determine independent, because isn't Pat McAfee independent? Well, I guess he's on ESPN.
Not anymore.
now.
ESPN owns that shit.
So maybe that
Bent over backwards and took it up the tail feather.
Yeah, $85 million worth. Speaking of bending over and taking up the tailpipe, Mac Jones is bending over and taking up the tailpipe in Patriots camp, as head coach Bill Belichick says everyone is competing here and no job is secured. He said this if Mac Jones was a QB1 moving forward. So, Hoffy, this is your guy. I believe you said earlier, don't be dogging my man Mac Daddy Jones, or don't talk shit on my boy Mac Daddy Jones. So this question going to be directly toward you. If Mac Jones isn't the starting quarterback in 2023 for the New England Patriots, then what?
I could bring up probably 20 years worth of videos where the same question was asked if Tom Brady was a QB1, and he said we're all competing for a job. But I think in order to be successful in the Patriots organization, Bill Belichick likes a quarterback that is going to dink and dunk, control the run game, control the clock, and I don't think you get that in Zappy. Zappy is a sling happy, throw the ball deep, and that is not the offense that New England likes to run. I think that with Bill O'Brien, back in the fold, one of the best offensive coordinators there is. I think we're going to see a lot more success from Mac Jones, similar to his rookie year. And I think that Bill Belichick does not ever reveal his hand, even when you know exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, I feel like you have been around the block a time or two with questions like this, and you are speaking like a true Bill Belichick fan here. You say a lot without saying
I am not a Bill
nothing.
Belichick fan.
But you have been learning from the man 20 plus years. You put a lot of words out there, but nothing is really of like context there. So this is going to be the correct answer here, Hoffy. If Mac Jones is not the starter in 2023 for the New England Patriots, then he is out of town. He is getting cut. He is getting released, and he will find himself in New York replacing Zach Wilson at the end of the day. Guys, if Mac Jones is not the starter in New England, I think he is going to be a cancer in that locker room. We saw it last year, Hoffy, when things were not quite going the way that Mac Jones thought they should go on the offensive side of the ball. What did he do? He reached out outside of the organization, reached out to other coaches, offensive coordinators, other players, and Bill Belichick did not like that 100%. So if he doesn't start, does something like this happen again? I think so.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And this is a prove it year from him. But I expect, with Bill O'Brien in the fold again, for him to find the success that he had in year one with that team.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page here. We expect nothing less of a playoff experience, 3,500 yards passing, 10, 11 wins from the New England Patriots. I think they have the biggest upside in the East, and that is going to go all through Mac Jones. Now, I do love some Bailey Zappi. I got a chance to watch him as a Hilltopper here live, raw and uncut. When who were they playing? Were they playing Kentucky State? But either way, this man can fling the rock all over the field. But Bailey Zappi is better fit with somebody like Andy Reid, somebody like Mike McDaniels, or somebody that wants to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game, not New England. So maybe, just maybe, Hoffy, let's kind of throw some spaghetti at the wall here and hope it sticks. People are saying that Bill Belichick might be on the hot seat. They're saying, hey, this is a prove it here for Bill Belichick. So with that being said, if the Patriots do not go to the playoffs, do not have a winning season, and Mac Jones is the quarterback, is Bill Belichick out, Mac Jones out, Bailey Zappi in, and then some next hot young coach?
Yeah, I was okay if they had kept Tom Brady and got rid of Bill Belichick. I mean, I think we've spoke on the top coaches in the league as of right now, and we talked about Andy Reid, Mike Tomlin, all those guys. I think the game is just past Belichick. He refuses to adapt. He's stuck in his old ways. I think we've seen that the new offensive game is that gunslinging, throwing the ball down the field game, and that's just not Belichick's game. So yeah, I do think that Belichick should be on the hot seat, and it's well deserved. I mean, he hasn't done anything without Belichick, and that goes back to his time with the Browns and his 2 weeks with the Jets before joining the Patriots as the head coach. But I think a lot of that success is geared towards Tom Brady.
So we talk about hot seats and like all that stuff. What can get him off of the hot seat? Is it a playoff berth? Is it a 10-win season? Is it a Super Bowl? Like, what can get him off of the hot seat, in your opinion?
I think this is going to be a tough season in the fact that you have three good teams that you're going to play twice in the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Jets. If they can squeak out 4-2 out of that and be competing for a playoff spot, 10, 11 wins, I think he buys himself another year on the hot seat. I think if he makes the playoffs, everyone sits back and says, oh, it's Bill Belichick, and Bill we trust. But I think any less than 10 wins and there needs to be some discussion.
So basically you are saying that Bill Belichick's kind of in a lose-lose situation, right? He can be the best team in the AFCS. Like, oh, it's just Bill being Bill. But if he's a 7-win team, like, maybe he's not so good. That's got to be a tough spot to be in. I would think, but I'm not in that spot because I'm a damn good coach. I just. So, Hoffy, this is a time of day where we would usually get out the toxic comment of the day. But as of late, there's been so many toxic comments that I could not pick out just one. So when we do the toxic comment of the day, I scroll the Facebook page, I screenshot it, I put it up on the thing. We give you a nice little jingle. But Hoffy, people in general, I'm going to call out the general man-hour nation right now. When you guys do not agree with something that I post on Facebook or Hoffy posts or this or this or this, we're always on drugs. We're always on cocaine. We're always smoking the wacky tobacco. We're all doing a little bit of meth. So, Hoffy, if you do not agree with something that I post, are you going to say that I'm on drugs?
No, you got to spit facts.
Yeah, guys, stop it with the drugs crap. I've never done drugs before a day in my life. Not going to do so, unless my wife keeps being crazy. But we'll digress from that. But I don't know.
She's not on the show anymore, is she?
No, she's right there working out. She's in the gym. Like we got a home gym, and she's right there, and I'm like across the hall, and she's giving me that stinky eye. Do the stinky leg. Do the stinky leg. And I just got the bird. Bird. Bird is the word, right? If you know that, you know. But, Hoffy, let's get into some Jonathan Taylor Thomas talk. No, not JTT. Not the man from Home Improvement. The man from the Indianapolis Colts. The running back from that's right, put some respect on their name, the Indianapolis Colts. Earlier this week, I believe it was Saturday or Sunday, I can't remember for sure, but Jonathan Taylor has officially requested a trade. So, of course, Jim Irsay says, I'm not going to trade him. His value to us is a lot more than what we're going to get in return, yada, yada, yada. But we always have to explore the idea of what teams could possibly JT sign for. So I got 4 teams, Hoffy, that I think that would be great fits for Jonathan Taylor. First up is going to be your New England Patriots. I think Jonathan Taylor to the New England Patriots is a match made in heaven. He has that solid running game. He is fast. He is quick burst. He wants the rock. He wants to eat. And that allows Mac Jones to nickel and dime it down the field. Everything that the New England Patriots want to do. Also, they failed on the D-Hop signing. And it appears to be that they're failing on the Zeke signing as well. So a trade for Jonathan Taylor kind of makes sense. Hey, we'll give you Bailey Zappi for JT. We'll give you Mac Jones for JT. Who do you want? Of course, the Colts already have their quarterback, but you guys know what I'm talking about. The Patriots would be a great fit. Hoffy, before I go to the next team here, the Patriots are your guys. Would you welcome a trade for Jonathan Taylor?
Absolutely. I think he would make a great 1-2 punch with our running backs.
Yeah, hopefully, because he needs that 1-2 punch. Next up, in the Jonathan Taylor trade sweeps that I'm putting out there, is the Miami Dolphins. I think the Miami Dolphins would also be a pretty good fit for Jonathan Taylor. Why? Because the Miami Dolphins were highly sought after Dalvin Cook. Now, as of late, things have kind of simmered down now. Maybe they're happy with the running back situation, but Mike McDaniels is from the San Francisco 49ers. What did the San Francisco 49ers do a lot in they ran the ball a lot. Now, they do have one of the best receiver cores in the NFL. They have a above-average quarterback. The offensive line, we'll discuss that. But if you add a running back like Jonathan Taylor to that team, Miami Dolphins fans would be on cloud freaking 9. Super Bowl talks would even be louder. Oh, man. Just thinking about it, Hoffy, that wets my whistle. Should the Miami Dolphins get on the Jonathan Taylor sweepstakes?
No.
No, because you're a Patriots fan.
Yep.
I mean,
I think
fair.
anybody that
Yeah.
was in on the Dalvin Cook, is should be in on Jonathan Taylor as well. But one sleeper I'll give you that I think it wouldn't really work out this year as far as make them a contender, but in the future would be Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
Him with Murray.
Well, first of all, Kyler Murray's going to be out. Colt McCoy is the man in Arizona for the foreseeable future. Kyler Murray, 5'5", get out of here. But the Cardinals still have James Conner, which I do like some James Conner, especially when he was with Steelers. And they have somebody else. Didn't they just sign a running back? Was it Damian Williams that they signed from the Kansas City Chiefs? Or actually, Damian Williams was with the Chiefs, and then he went to the Ravens, I thought. But I thought they just signed Damian Williams. I could be wrong on that. But I thought they just signed
Tyson Williams, Corey Clement,
Corey
Tim Ricardo, and Keontae Ingram.
I like it. I mean, I could see the Arizona Cardinals, but the best team that I think Jonathan Taylor would fit with is the Chicago Bears. Beastie Combs, get up on your cloud 9, because JT to the Bears makes sense. The Bears have a lot of cap space to play with. They could sign him to that big lucrative deal, $15, $16 million, whatever he wants. Give that man a blank check. Why? Because the Chicago Bears run the piss out of the ball. They have never had a 4,000-yard passer. They're not going to do it this year. They're not going to do it next year. They're not going to do it the year after that. Run the ball with Jonathan Taylor in Chicago. Let that man eat. Bada bing, bada boom. JT to the Bears makes perfect sense. Hoffy, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I'd like to get Combs' thought on that, but I mean, he's in hibernation just like the Bears' offense has been for the last 20-something years. So I think that maybe with Jonathan Taylor, you might see him escape the basement and come out and actually be able to speak some facts and some truth about his Bears, and the hype might actually be real for once.
Combs and the truth just don't seem to mix right now. Are shots fired? Yes. Get out the Big Daddy Nerf gun, baby. Pew, pew. Shoot the shot, baby. But a team that I was not even thinking about, a team that has kind of shocked me when the name was put in people's mouths about it. They're thinking about a yang to lang, thunder to lightning, and that is Isaiah Pacheco to Jonathan Taylor. Kansas City Chiefs. I was not even thinking about this, but I was on the old Twitter machine, and Isaiah Pacheco was trending. I'm like, what did this guy do? So I scroll down, click on it, and people are putting Jonathan Taylor on the Chiefs. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, man, the Chiefs did get 5 draft picks from the Miami Dolphins for Tyreek Hill. They got some room to play with. Patrick Mahomes, if he really wanted to win, he can rework his deal, right? You can get Clyde Edwards-Helaire out, that bust of a running back. I mean, they still have McKinnon and other people. They have pieces that they can move around, get them out of town, bring JT in. And when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, can the rich get richer? Can the Kansas City Chiefs actually sign Jonathan Taylor to a long-term deal and use him and abuse him for the next couple years? And then I got to think about it. No, JT to the Chiefs just doesn't make sense, because we're not a run-happy offense. We are a pass-happy offense. We still do have Isaiah Pacheco. We do have Jarrett McKinnon still. We still have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Now, it would be awesome if we could get him, but could they afford him in the end? No, not at all. Would Jonathan Taylor to the Kansas City Chiefs make sense in your eyes, Hoffy?
I mean, if anyone's got the assets to acquire him, I think you absolutely have probably the best assets to provide. You could throw in Clyde. You could throw in some of those picks, like you said, from the Miami. But then, like you said, it's a matter of paying him. When you're already paying Kelsey, you're paying Mahomes. You weren't able to get a deal done with Hill, and that's kind of why he ended up in Miami. I mean, as well as he wanted, he'll say he wanted to prove that it's, him, not Mahomes, but I think he absolutely would have loved to stay, but I don't know how you're going to be able to pay all those guys.
Yeah, it doesn't quite make sense to me. But that's going to be it for today's show, Hoffy. That is it. Live, raw, uncut sports talk, guys. I effed up the live stream. That's my fault. I pushed stop stream instead of start record for some reason. My bad. But we will replay this.
Can't be great all the time, Buck.
Dude, I'm always great, baby. Any closing thoughts, Hoffy?
That's what your wife said.
Any closing
Some
thoughts?
closing thoughts. Yeah, where's Combs?
Who knows? This man likes to run and hide. He's scared.
Trying to get him in the in the chat, the comments. Even get on his podcast show, which is crap. Give him a couple jokes and can't get him out of the woodwork.
Nothing. All right, guys. So that is going to be it for today's show. Thank you for tuning in to the Man Hour NFL Talk. This is truly the only place where you can get live, raw, uncut NFL talk. See you next time right here on the Man Hour. And always, Man Hour Nation, rise up.